Hi, I'm Teri Kollath. I'm here today with Dotty Morrison of Cellana. We're talking about birds, and we're talking about birds in a very special place. Thanks for joining me, Dotty.
Nice to be here. Thank you.
We always talk about birds when we talk about Dotty. How long have you had this passion for birds?
Oh, wow. You know what? It started at Shell Point.
Did it really?
It did. In 1993, my parents moved here. My husband and I came after we got through with school to help them settle in, fix bookshelves, fix curtains. And during the 10-day period in which we were in their apartment with them, we needed an escape. Somebody had given them a plastic sheet that you can buy out at Sanibel that has the most common birds in the area. So we picked that up and we just started walking around like this. There was also a man that lived below them named Dr. Bill Stahl, that some people will remember, who was an ornithologist. That was his profession. He taught at Ohio Wesleyan. And every day we'd knock on his door and say, "This is what we saw today." So after 10 days, we went home knowing 24 birds.
That's fabulous.
And ever after that, every time we went on a trip, we would contact birders in areas. There's a directory. You can email them or call them up and say, "Can you meet me?" or "Where should I go?" And I've done that all over the world.
You certainly have.
Yeah.
And this time, Galapagos. I can't. When you think of unusual, amazing places, Galapagos comes right up there, right?
And the reason is that in every area you go, if you go to a new place, all the birds, and animals too, but birds particularly, there will be so many that you won't see any other place. Now, there are many birds that migrate and so on, so our warblers you would see in South America. But there also are going to be birds in every country that are endemic or special to that country. Galapagos has so many of them, and you would never see the ones that I saw anywhere else in the world. So
amazing.
I had never dreamed I would get to go to the Galapagos. And when Dee Horn knocked on my door and said, "I have an idea."
She has a wonderful idea.
She does. She was looking for a roommate because she wanted to go. This was 2 years out when she was booking this trip with Icings. And she said, "When I thought of who would be the best roommate and would enjoy it the most, I thought of you." So that's where it began. And I just had such an amazing time. It was almost too much to take in. It was also so much bigger. I had no idea. Because I'd never expected to go there. I was expecting Galapagos maybe was the size of Sanibel plus Captiva plus Pine Island. Well, when I saw how big it was, I was just astounded. We circled the inner islands, and it was 530 miles. So it was just an enormously wonderful experience, and one that I just hadn't ever anticipated, but it was great.
Do you have a favorite bird from the Galapagos?
The blue-footed booby. The blue-footed booby. And that's a bird that after we got on the bus, and we were on the bus going to the ship, and there's some rocks, and I saw some rocks, and at first I thought it was a brown pelican because their backs are brown. And then I saw the feet. And on that bus with all these other people who didn't know me, I went, "Blue-footed booby!"
It all happened.
They all kind of. So I spotted it even before the cruise started.
Fabulous.
It was amazing.
So great. And to think that you saw it, that you actually saw it, and now you have this photo to remember.
I have lots of photos of blue-footed boobies.
And we're going to see some.
You will.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Yes.
Well, the other question I've always wanted to ask Dotty is, what does it take to zero in on something that you're personally so interested in without just looking at it? I mean, to go from, "Oh, I'm enjoying this so much," to capturing it. What is there about that process that you could share with us? Well,
every person has different things that they are focused on. So on the trip, we had several people who love scuba diving. Okay, I've never done that. I wasn't interested. I couldn't take my camera underwater.
Right.
There are underwater cameras, but I didn't have one. And so that's what they focused on. So every time the word scuba diving came up in the literature, and every day we got a little brochure that inside it told all the different opportunities for the next day, and you had several choices. And some they would describe as more difficult, some easier, and so on. And then we would consult with the Icings tour guide who went with us, Eric Ramirez, who was amazing. and he would give us clues as to what we might want to do and so on. So for me, the opportunity to see new birds was primary.
Right.
And so I actually didn't go on some of the walks because based on what they said, I wasn't going to see anything new. But if I went in a Zodiac, the inflatable boats,
Yeah.
going out in the water, I actually saw a lot more kinds of birds doing that than taking a long walk in the heat. So that's kind of what I did. So I suppose I missed seeing some things that other people saw, but I was happy.
So what you wanted to see.
Yeah.
Did you start your photographic experience, the intensity of it here at Show Point also?
I had always taken pictures. My dad always took pictures. And so that was kind of something I enjoyed doing. And it was just more a hobby and more to record what we were seeing. It wasn't until I got here and started learning from people like Herb Sklar and Les Davidson and Mary McCoy and Sally Rich that I developed my eye and learned that there were rules of photography that helped you compose better. And so that was kind of exciting.
Well, we are going to see the fruits of all of this. I hope you will make time to join us. This is a very rare experience to not only see some fabulous photographs from a great photographer, but to also hear, as you've heard right here, a little bit more about these birds and the experience Dotty had in the Galapagos. Please join us. Coffee with the Neighbor, 10 o'clock, Wednesday, November 8th, Grand Cypress Room, Woodlands.